Motion is a law of God. If air doesn't flow in and out of our bodies, we die. If blood doesn't flow through our bodies, we die. If water doesn't flow, like you said, it becomes stagnant, it dies. Money is the same way. And in the parable of the talents, which some people get confused because they think it's like talents, but a talent really was like a year, you know, it was like a lot of money. So in today's world, it might be like $180,000 or thereabouts. So, you know, to get 4 of those $180,000 chunks is a lot, and to double it is a lot. But the servant that trusted the master and knew what the master wanted to have happen with the money multiplied it by putting it in motion, like you said. And, you know, if you remember what the master says at the end, he says, you wicked and evil servant, the least you could have done is give it to the banks to earn interest. The least that you could have done. Right?
And people take that wrong, right? Because, you know, there's other scripture that says, do not give your pearls to swine, right? Now, what are your pearls? Your pearls are your money. And what do they tell you to put your money when you were a child? They tell you to put it in what?
Savings.
A piggy bank. And what is a pig? Pig is swine. So literally it's telling you, do not give your money to swine. But that is what people by default do. And then the bank goes and multiplies your money by 1,000. And I'll show you how. If they give you 0.03% interest in a Bank of America savings account, and then they charge you 3% for a mortgage, that's 100x right there. But then we also know through the fractional reserve banking system that they only have to keep 10% on hand. So they're able to multiply that by another 10, and they've actually multiplied what you deposited by 1,000.
Yeah, you know, Jullien, in 2016, Bank of America, that I think you just mentioned, is their Bauer financial report said that they paid their on their interest-bearing deposits 0.2%, a little higher than it is today, right? But they averaged 5.2% on their loans. Okay, so what you do is, the way a business works, for the audience that doesn't understand this, Jullien, I know you get this, is it's your cost of doing business divided into your profit. So 0.2% goes into 5.2 26 times. So that's a 2,600% profit margin before fractional reserve banking, right? Now think about that, 2,600%. Okay, now what is the bank? But then what the bank knows is what you just said, okay? The bank creates velocity of money because they loan money out to you, they loan money out to me, let's say for a mortgage. What do they do with the money that you pay them every month? They loan it out again. And again, and again. And the faster that your money moves, that's called velocity of money, not scientific velocity, because we will have some engineers out there that'll say that's not the definition of velocity. No, this is an economic term. The faster that our money moves, the faster that we have. And there's only one pool of money in the world. All you got to do is get it to flow to you instead of somebody else.
And it's an expanding pool. Abundance mindset will let you know that it's expanding pool. The universe and energy, they say energy is never created or destroyed, but it does shift and it takes new shape, right? And there's untapped energy that we have not tapped into. So there are $1 million ideas in people's mind, despite the fact, let's say the money supply, because there's the actual physical money supply, and then there's the actual value that is out in the world. And those two things are different, right? The physical money supply is finite. We can actually go put a number on that. But the abundance and the wealth that exists in the world is actually infinite, because you and I, we could powwow right now and come up with a multi-billion-dollar idea right now. And that wealth starts to take shape, right? Through our conversation, whenever 2 or more are gathered, we know that amazing things happen. So you are 100% right. I've been using, in terms of the velocity of money, I've come up with another term called our personal internal rate of return. And that is how quickly we are growing and expanding money in our lives. So I'll take Elon Musk, for example. When he exited PayPal at 180 million, he grew that to 194 billion over about 20 years. If you look at the internal rate of return on that, he's basically grown his wealth by 44.44% over each year for the past 20 years. And so if people go look at what their net worth was last year, and they compare it 12 months ago and they compare it to today, that will give you your personal internal rate of return. And to be honest, if you start with $10,000 right now, and you simply grew that by 12% every year for 60 years, you would have $10 million.